This is Pete Moore on Halo Talks NYC, sheltering in place with my good friend and also Halo Academy graduate, Adam Zeitsiff. How are we doing, babe?
Good, buddy. How you doing, Pete?
Excellent. Excellent. So, you and I have known each other for a long time. You've made a pivot into the digital side. You want to give your background and some of the things that we worked on that we didn't expect to have to work on because of COVID and in the future.
Yeah. So I've actually started out in the digital side, in the technology side. Got out of college and really started in the computer software systems integration space, and left after 6 months and started my first company. I was a 22-year-old kid and a business partner that I had met at this company. We decided, heck, the year was 1995. I had a dog, and I figured let's try a new business. Worst case, me and the dog will move home, and no harm, no foul. But started a business in the video conferencing and audio visual space, and so really started in high tech. 22-year-old kid, and we started this company. It was out in Long Island, in New York, in your neck of the woods, and out in Bay Shore, New York, and just got lucky and really signed on with a couple leading manufacturers of video conferencing equipment, and built a business up. There was two of us in a little 1,000 square feet we rented, and we grew a nice business. And fast forward 9 years later, we had a lot of hard work and a little bit of luck, but had a company with 130 employees, 9 offices, doing about 40 million in revenue, and really grew a cool company and learned a ton from it. But it brought me in. Technology was where I started, and we can talk about how I ended up in fitness and pivoted. But it's good to be back in this space and back in the tech side of things in the fitness industry. But always had a love for tech and what it can do and how it can transform businesses. And nothing is transforming fitness these days more than technology.
Yeah. So look, we spent a lot of time working with you when you were CEO of Gold's, and then you just pivoted to take this job as CEO of Intelivideo. How important do you think it is from your standpoint to have, run clubs from a corporate standpoint, run clubs from a franchisee standpoint, to put you in a position, where you understand firsthand, okay, here's all the frustrations. I got to solve this. The technology is supposed to be a tool, not just, a bell and whistle. So how do you talk about that?
Yeah, when I pivoted into the out of the vendor technology side into the more operational technology side, I took on the CIO role and head of global brand innovation at Gold's, and that's what brought me there. And so I first started by coming from the vendor side and spending about 12 years as a technology vendor in fitness, seeing what other different operators were doing and how technology was transforming their business. So for me, the first step was going from vendor into the club operating side at Gold's and really applying what I had learned from so many other operators in so many areas in fitness and help transforming that business. But then coming out of 5 years of basically being on the operations side, I think you learn firsthand, and you sometimes forget from a technology standpoint, you can't develop inside a bubble. You can't create products inside a bubble, and you need to have experience. You've got to been behind the front desk and check people in and walk the floor and been on where the personal trainers are when they're trying to wrap up one session with a client, moving to another. What does that look like, and how fast paced really is it? And you don't understand that from a technologist unless you've experienced it. And I think it certainly helps. It also helps understanding and the business side of what makes it frustrating for club operators. What is hurting their business? What is helping it? And where's the pain lies, especially after what we've gone through as an industry the last 9 months or so.
So when you think about where Peloton was, pre-COVID. And, there's been an influx, obviously, of, waking some of the sleeping giants, which I would argue, are the big franchisors and the corporate clubs and the fitness studios who, technically own this relationship with a member, but never really had the requirement to go digital. It was kind of a nice to have, not a need to have. And, I think a lot of clubs, when we were going over this in the Halo Academy, when they say, hey, where is the competition? It's like we were busy making money,
right.
running more business, which was, now kind of, from Peloton's standpoint, it's probably a blessing and a curse, kind of wake up everyone. But talk a little bit about, once you bring on a platform like Intelivideo, it becomes an integral part of your business. It's not like, hey, outsource this, we have a digital offering. How do you see this evolving into being like a fully integrated or omni-channel approach to helping members get results?
Yeah, I think the first and foremost, I think every fitness operator I've talked to back when I was at Golds, and we were just working together to help us get through this as an industry, and now in Intelivideo, I think they've all realized right away that it's not going to go back to normal. Number one, meaning even when we get the vaccine, everyone's got it. We're all healthy. We can travel like we used to, throw the masks away, all that fun stuff. The world has forever changed. And if you look at all different types of brands, all different types of industries, I think COVID has helped everyone realize that the industries are never dark, right? People expect their brands to be on 24/7, no matter what industry. You can get if I could click a button and have 16 different items delivered to me here at our office in Denver, where I am today, in 15 minutes, that probably a year ago I couldn't get delivered. But now that world has pivoted and changed, and fitness has pivoted and changed, and consumers expect the brand to never be dark. They expect to be able to work out and exercise with their brand whenever they want to, and that has changed. And it's good to hear that at least operators are seeing that, look, I know my members will come back. They will come back and they'll be in the clubs a couple days a week, or in my studio a couple days a week, but they will work out at home once or twice a week. It's just become part of their normal. And I would say that if you're going to make this work, and if this is going to be something you're going to deploy, you have to give this the same level of attention and as you would your regular in-club business, right? This has to be critical to your business, just like managing your team in the club, your personal trainers, managing their sessions, managing your front desk staff, you're out in the community marketing. The same way you treat that as a club operator, you need to start treating your digital and deploy this with that same level of thought and that same level of urgency, because it's going to be there and it will help differentiate you because you own the hyper-local relationship with that member. And Peloton does not, and Mirror does not. They have great products and cool brands, and I love what they're doing for recognition for the industry. And as a technologist, I love it. I won't get stoop to getting one yet, but I love what they're doing. But let me tell you, that you as a club operator, you own that hyper-local relationship, and the member that came into your club, they trusted you with that emotional fitness journey and that emotional decision they made to come in there and change their lives. And so why shouldn't they trust you when they're not in the club with that same emotional decision, the same workouts, the same things they want to do? And that's where club operators have the leg up. And that's where putting a platform like Intelivideo in there and giving it that same level of priority every day will help clubs win for the long term.
So, when you take a look at like live versus having an archived library of quality content, I like yesterday, not bragging, but I figured I'd just tell you a quick story. Is that cool? Right,
sure.
I took my 18th spin class with Connor that's called Just Say Yes on my SoulCycle bike, and it's not live. It's on my time. And, I like the music. I like the instructor, this and that. So do you see clubs kind of understanding, okay, I need like a live component as a portion of what I'm doing, but 90% of people that take a Peloton class, which I've found is a striking metric, are pulling it from the library. So even just having like a 5-star, library, is also equally important as, being able to have the functionality to run live classes. So I want to get your take on that.
Yeah, I think people do, and that's the beauty of a virtual environment and going hybrid, is that they can get in to your club on your schedule, meaning your club schedule when you're offering classes, but once or twice a week, they can get their exercise in on their own schedule. And so I would certainly say that video on demand, a quality video on demand library that's thoughtfully put together, and that's one of the things we do here. We actually have a team at Intelivideo who all they do is content strategy. They'll sit with clubs and go over their strategy with them, what kind of video on demand, what kind of categories, what is the demographic of your club and your members, and what are they looking for both in the club and at home, and how can you not just duplicate it but also complement it and do some different things at home too, and what's that refresh schedule look like for content? So that's really important. So video on demand library, absolutely critical. I think at least 60 to 70% of that content should be your own people. It should be someone that I could bump into in the club who's also running a class, but that doesn't mean to say that 20, 30, 35% of it could be really high quality third-party content that you can't maybe get everywhere, and then get a nice mixture of that. But at the same time, to your point, people like a live event. They like to be able to say, maybe once or twice a month, I'm going to jump in on this live class. It's a cool event. I know that a couple hundred other members of the club do it. It's a real camaraderie thing. We can all compare times, and that's important. And also remember, live events become some of your best recorded content. So people are recording their live events all the time, and they become part of your video on demand library. And it's a cool experience, just like you've done that 18th class. And it was live at one point, and now it's recorded, and it's great content to keep in the archives.
Yeah. Do you see from the data so far that clubs are adding digital only members in their community? Because obviously you and I have been in the industry a long time. Mm-hmm. There's always a fear of, being deconditioned, and I'm walking into a club, and I think, the only thing I know about health clubs is that somebody once told me it's like buying a used car, and like I don't want to go on the lot because I don't know what I'm actually going to be sold, and they're going to confuse me. And next thing you know, I lose my credit card, and I'm in an ether. So do you see this as potentially being like a nice way to, say, hey, look, here's a $10 gift card, and if the promotion vault or something, and like here's like 2 weeks on our digital platform, just get comfortable with what's going on here. This isn't intimidating. And then, coming to the club in 2 weeks after you take a couple of workouts, or how do you see some of maybe the entry or lead gen kind of dovetailing with the digital?
Yeah, I think that's one of the most underrated parts or unrealized parts of what going hybrid can do. It becomes a real strong lead gen. I mean, it is another membership type. So almost every club has a join online these days. You can pick the good, better, best of their in-club memberships, but you should be also offering your virtual only memberships right now online and promoting them. And they will drive, number one, more revenues than you realize. But number two, to your point, they are absolutely a lead gen. You give them a gift card, you give them a couple of weeks, you charge them a few dollars to be on there, and they may, right for now, because they're more comfortable, they may stay on it for a couple of months, but because they're engaged and they're working out with your people just virtually, they are going to be a much higher quality lead, and there's a very strong chance they're just going to convert to a full in-club and digital hybrid membership after they're comfortable, because it's the same people and they've already trusted you with that fitness journey that they're on, just in starting out at home.
So inside of each one of these clubs that you've greenlighted, over the past several months, who is the champion internally? Is it the fitness director? Is it a new position, head of digital? What have some people done to say, okay, here's who's going to basically oversee the Intelivideo relationship?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the type of, we've got very large enterprise customers with hundreds of locations, and we've got your independent operators with 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 locations, which is a great sweet spot for us and really something that we do really well because of all the services we provide them. But it usually starts at the independent operator level with the owner, and usually the head of Group X or Group or Fitness, who realize that they've got to provide this service to their members when they're not in the club. And so they usually start to champion it. And then I think the one thing we recommend is, it doesn't matter who it is, just make sure someone owns it. If it's your head of fitness, that's great. A lot of times we see the head of marketing, because you're marketing a new service and they're the ones managing, bringing fitness in to help with the programming, bringing the teams in. Just make sure someone does own it, whether it's marketing, fitness, ownership, because like I said earlier, it is a critical part of your business. But we're seeing those kind of two key titles right now are really focusing on deploying this and then maintaining it.
So if I said, okay, Adam, I got 10,000 members, what's a realistic percentage within the next 6 months after we, put this up there? Like, well, what's realistic on percentage of members that you think are going to engage with the digital?
Yeah, I think it's going to be skewed right now. But if you normalize that and look at this, if we look at something and say, hey, if you can ramp yourself to 20% adoption and 20% of your members do that, and we look at that from a couple of things. Number one, we know that numbers of Group X inside the club are in that range. People who adopt that, it's a great retention tool. So if we look at 20% to say that's a key focus. Get yourself there within that first 6 months or so, 6 to 9 months. Market it internally, and remember, most of the time, except for the lead gen piece we talked about, you're marketing to an existing customer. You want them to engage. You want them to either upsell to a bundled membership that includes this, or spend the extra $5 or $8 a month to add digital to their existing membership. So it's a different kind of marketing approach, which we have a team that will support your team to help them market to your existing members to add a service. But if you can get to within 6 or 9 months of that 20% rate, they're engaged, they're using it, it's going to make a dramatic impact, not just to your bottom line, yes, of course, but just to your retention and to everything else that you're focusing on and engagement as we come out of this pandemic.
Yeah. So, when you look at deploying this and you say, okay, I've got 5 rockstar instructors that I want to get on the system, can you just give a little bit of high level, how those people get compensated? Do you usually, I'm sure some are getting paid on okay, you cut the video, we pay you one-time fee, we get a waiver that they sign that releases it, or they get a percentage of usage. I've seen a lot of different things deployed. So what's your recommendation, or how do you help track that or not create too much, issues when, as you launch this?
Sure. Yeah, I think the first thing, and I'll get to that in one second. The first, you pick your talent, your rock star trainers, for example. And I think you know this because you do a lot of digital workouts, Pete. But coaching to a group of 25 people in a room is completely different than coaching to the camera. So the first thing we do is we've got some training materials, and we will help you train your team how to coach to the camera, how to engage, how to talk. You don't get feedback when you're coaching to the camera. So all the things that you need to make sure they can really coach to the camera, and it doesn't come off like they're reading a script, and they can engage the party on the other side, even if it's recorded. So that's first and foremost. But then what we see mostly is people are paying their staff and their team either per video they record or for a day of recording. So they're coming up with a per video fee, and they're signing the release and saying that, listen, I'm letting you use my image. I don't own any of this content. I'm doing it in return for this fee per video. Or a lot of stuff that I've seen is also just a per diem. They're coming in per diem, they're recording what they can for a couple of days in a row, and they get paid. Similar concept, release. They don't own the content, and now they're out there helping to represent the brand.
Yeah. So, ideally, once everyone's back in the club, and you made a good point of, this 20% marker. I think the maximum of clubs that I've seen on traffic has been 25% of the check-ins are going to a group exercise class. I think no matter how much you push personal training, it's always usually 10% of the members are doing personal training. It's not really much more than that. Do you see going forward, obviously right now the goal is, let me just get a digital footprint, and then let me figure out how I'm going to integrate this in. But do you see in the future a personal trainer or like a prescription that says, hey, I want you to, you want to lose 25 pounds. Okay, here's a 10-week program. I want you to do two days personal training on EFT maybe. I want you to do these two group exercise classes in the club, and I want you to do these 2 workouts, on the digital. Do you kind of see that's where we'll probably get to? I'm assuming we're not there yet because there's not stability in the routine. But do you kind of see that's where we're potentially headed?
I think so. I think any club that wants to deliver results and doesn't just want to bill for membership, if you're there to deliver results and change people's fitness lives, that's exactly what you should be doing. And that's what, when we launched the Gold's Amp product back in 2017 at Gold's Gym, within a year, we realized that it's certainly not a competition in any way to personal training. And the best trainers who had the best results, who had the best retention of members, paying them every week to be there 2 or 3 times a week, were also prescribing a 1 or 2 amp workouts a week digitally, and their clients were doing it, and it was rounding out their routine. And then not all of it was heavy duty. Some of it might have just been a light jog or recovery treadmill workout or something of that nature, but they were prescribing that. And what they found is not only did that customer stay a personal training client longer, which is important for independent operators, they stayed a member longer because they were just more engaged with the brand, period. Any way you can get your member to be engaged with your brand is obviously a win. And I think that's going to be one of the things that people as club operators over the next couple of years will see the digital platforms doing for them. Is it will, of course, get them engaged working out. It'll help them on their fitness journey. It will keep the members longer, but it's just another way they can engage and another way they can communicate with them, other than just sending a push notification once or twice a month through the app or an email blast and things like that. And so all those things come together, but I think prescribing digital in conjunction with in-person for personal training, in conjunction with some in-person classes, is going to be the norm.
So, when you talk about your contract and the way you guys work, you wake up every day as clients onboard more members and there's more usage that's more beneficial to your company. Most SaaS related programs that are out there, like if I get a Salesforce.com, subscription CRM, they get paid, based on whatever the monthly contractual software licensing fee is, and they could care if I use it or not, right?
That's right.
Obviously, they want me to use it because I'm going to cancel it. But talk about how a white label, SaaS that has a member component kind of aligns you almost as if you're like a franchisor or franchisee and you're on like a 6% royalty deal. So you're, as a franchisor, I'm in it to win it only if I can make you win. So talk about how that works. I think people sometimes get caught in how much does this cost me versus how much revenue do we create, and how much do we share of what we've created versus thinking about it as a fixed cost.
Yeah, I think we always tell customers you should not consider this a cost center. We look at this no matter how you want to monetize it. This is a monetization opportunity. If that monetization is just bundling it with your upper tier membership and you increase the take on that membership by 10% as a result, you've monetized this platform. Or if it's just, hey, instead of for our base members, if it's another $5 or $8 more a month and you're making great margin on that, but they're also staying longer. And we saw LTVs. We have clients whose LTVs are 20+% more when the customer has digital and in club than those that just have in club. It's a huge difference. So it's really important to do that and to monetize that. But for us, we come in as a partner, and then that's why we're different, because we don't just provide you the technology platform and tell you how to use it and then walk away and say, if you have a tech support question, call us. We have 2 other teams that work with you. And to your point, we're only successful if you are. So we have our marketing success team that will actually teach clubs how to market this. How do you engage members? How do you get them to try the digital? And then once they're on, how do you walk them through journeys and keep them engaged and keep communicating with them? And how do we look at those metrics, and how do we see what's working and how do we tweak what's not working? And the same with the content strategy. Our content strategy team will make sure they're delivering the right content, whether it's video on demand, whether it's live streaming, and we'll make sure that they can actually take what's the best of in club, deliver it out of club, and also add some things that are complementary to that. And we do those things, and we don't charge extra for those. We do those things because we know we can help you get to that 15, 20%. And if you get any higher than that, then it's a really great relationship. You as a club operator are making a lot of money. Your members are engaged and they're staying longer. And we as your partner are making a profit, because we're all in business to make a profit. And it's a really good value-based partnership. So that's why we decided we're not just going to deliver a platform and train you how to use it and wish you good luck. We're actually going to take an active role in not only deploying it, but how you operate it every week.
Right. So when you think about, if the pandemic happened in 2025, I would argue that Peloton probably and Apple Plus probably would have been like light years ahead, and it would have been much harder to catch up. Could you just speak for a minute about potential clients or current clients understanding, like every time there's a new platform launch or there's a new piece of hardware, there's Android or there's like PCI compliance or, any kind of rules and regulations, like you guys are, there's a lot to be done here as a technology company, and it's a continuously, wet painting. So, just give a little insight on that, because you're basically saying, hey, look, I'm letting you compete against, a $30 billion market cap company of Peloton, or, 160 billion of Zoom, and you're going to pay X dollars per member per month. But there's a lot going on behind the curtain here.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. And when you outsource any technology platform, whether it's Intelivideo, your point of sale system, your CRM system, your promotional and engagement type systems, you rely on that partner to do the heavy lifting. And that's what we do. We do the heavy lifting. We keep up with all the standards. We keep up with the latest engagement and community features. We keep up with all the compliancy issues. We focus on the payment processing and making sure it's secure through our partners and things of that nature. And I think health club operators are amazing fitness people. They're amazing community people and engaging people and marketing, but they don't want to focus on the technology. They don't want the technology to bog them down. They don't want the maintenance of that technology to bog them down. But we all know the difference, and the secret sauce, even with the white label platform, is what you put in it. It's the content, it's what they record, it's how they deliver it, it's how they engage with their customers. And that's where they can make a difference with the partnership with someone like us. And we'll make a difference by making sure the technology is to the latest standards, the latest mobile apps, the latest rules for all the Apple stores and Android stores and Roku and Amazon Fire and every day there's a new rule and a new revenue split, and our team stays on top of that, and we make sure that that's seamless so that the customer and club operators can just run their business, drive great content, and engage with their members.
That's great. So you guys are going to complete the next growth equity raise here probably in Q1. Any parting quotes or wisdom for our health club operators who are inevitably going to spend the next couple of months, hopefully turning the corner here?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've all been there. It's we've lived about 100 lives in the last 9 months, all of us, everyone in this industry. And I think the only positive that's coming out of this is that it has put such a positive light on what living a healthy and active lifestyle, whatever that means to you, whether that just means going from the couch to the gym 3 days a week and you were doing nothing before, but it has put such a spotlight on that. I think our industry, especially in the brick and mortar club operators who realize that it's both in club and digital is the future, I think it's so bright. I think we just got to get through these next few months, we have such a great opportunity to help people. And I know it's like you guys, you're in the industry because you love this space and you love to help people, whether it's clubs, consulting, investment banking, everything that you do. Same with health club operators. And we get to help people. And technologists get to help those people, help them as well, and build their memberships and help them live a healthy and active lifestyle. So I think the future is certainly really bright. And I think we get through these next couple quarters and this industry is going to boom. And we're going to see a huge resurgence for the long term. And I think that everyone just needs to hang on tight because we're about to get there.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, it's great to see you back with your full technology hat and head of hair.
And you without yours, my friend.
It's okay. We're on audio, so it's no big deal. And we have no sponsors, so it's fine. I don't have to, back and call anybody. All right, man. On three, Halo, bro. Let's just put our hands in again. Remember? 1, 2,
Absolutely.
3, Halo. All right, man. Good luck with everything. Look forward to working with you here, and definitely making a difference. And I'm hoping that everyone in the industry understands that this is not a Band-Aid. This is a mission critical part of the business going forward. And I think we all got a wake up call, and let's take the call and turn it to action.
Amen, brother. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
All right, man. Talk to you soon. As we continue to build our Halo Talks email notification database, want to offer you a free $10 instant gift card from our friends at Promotion Vault. Also to show you how easy it is to offer your members and prospects and clients the ability to get desired actions out of them and reward them in real time. Go to halotalks.com, put your email address into the pop-up box, see how it works, get a free $10 gift card from us, and keep listening and making everybody great.